Hello reviewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Science Thursday, we're going to talk about dimethyl ether or DME. So let's dive deep into it. So what exactly is the problem? Well, problem is India has massive dependency on fuel. And here's the deal, you can live without driving for a few days, okay? And Pakistan is doing that right now, where they're like, dude, shut down school for 2 weeks. Like we have to conserve whatever reserves we have. So you can live with it, okay? You can survive if you are not in a position where you vehicles are reduced significantly. Yeah, you can't survive if you are not cooking food or eating food. So yeah, that's a thing. So that shortage becomes very brutal for us, exponentially brutal for us. And even a few days of supply shortage because of the population scale, we practically cannot store enough of it. Like fundamentally, it would be like a country's GDP had to be stored, put there so you can last only few days. And not to mention that nobody would like that if we put that much strain on the GDP. So fundamentally, it's just not viable, and massive harm to civilian life happens when this sort of things happen. So kaboom happens somewhere else. Even though it has nothing directly related to us, it has massive consequences for civilian life. So that's the issue. And India has spent a lot of money and decades of work to make LPG infrastructure. I'll discuss deep into what the hell that means, but we have massive infrastructure, basically cylinder, refilling station, everything. Like we have a whole ecosystem that is sorted for it. And that ecosystem took decades to make, and it's very good, very sorted technology. So we need something that is drop in. Like making something completely new may not be as viable as you might think. So fundamentally, these are the power constraints we have. We are dependent outside. We want something that is in-house and something that is able to utilize all the pre-existing infrastructure that we already built. So let's go into dimethyl ether. Now, this puppy is basically ethanol, or technical term, isomer of ethanol. Like if you haven't heard of it, the best explanation I got is just same elements, same number of elements, but arranged in a different topology, so to say. So this puppy. So it's an alcohol group, ether group, so to say, not hydrocarbon. Hydrocarbon does not have naughty oxygens there. So hydrocarbon is better fuel. It has more oomph, but does not burn effectively because again, there is no oxygen that is ready to, divorce, so to say. And it can be made from different feedstock. Like that is very clear. Whenever you are talking about DME, it's not natural. It is something that we have to construct. We are literally putting elements block by block to make it. So how would you make it, right? If you are making it, what's the feedstock? Feedstock starts from 2 points. So one is natural gas, CH4, methane. You do steam reforming, that gives you synth-gas, which is hydrogen and carbon monoxide, some amount of methane, like you get a mixture of gases. That's why it's called synth-gas, not one specific term, synth-gas. Then biomass, let's say biomatter, and then you do high temperature gasification, tada, you get synth-gas, same thing. Now, you take synth gas, that's the feedstock of the next step. Next step is take high pressure, high temperature, and perfect catalyst, and voila, you get methanol. Now, methanol, you hot dehydrate it, basically it requires decent kind of temperature. That gives you dimethyl ether, finally. So you can understand, it's a almost 3-step process. So first you take the feedstock, make it into synth gas to methanol, methanol to dimethyl ether. Yeah, that's a messy process. Basically, it's a refinery product and not something that you can just, tada, it's a refinery product. And thankfully, it has a lot of industrial use. So it's not something new. It's like we knew how to do this. That's why we know how the pipeline works. It's like it was already there. It's used in refrigeration industry. It's used in basically, it's a very good aerosol and it does not punch hole in the atmosphere. So it's a ozone layer basically. And some people suggested that we could, in principle, use green hydrogen and then biomass to create this sort of thing. Does not make sense, but okay. So that's the whole point of dimethyl ether, so to say. It's just ethanol with fancy steps. And again, you have to cook it. It's not something that you're just gonna get, tada, you have to make it brick by brick. And efficiency, different paper and different refinery has different efficiency based on their feedstock quality. Now, how does this puppy compare to LPG? LPG is liquefied petroleum gas. Now, let that be very clear. It's output of crude oil, not natural gas. Even though it's gas, it's not from natural gas. Natural gas is CH4. This puppy is a byproduct of crude oil distillation. And it has propane butane mix, and that's the biggest difference between LPG and any other system. LPG is generally mixture of it, meaning when I say propane butane, there is no guarantee that it would be 50-50. It could be 40% propane, 30% butane, and then like some amount of ethane. So it's not a clean mixture, so to say, like it has to be like this. It's not a compound. It's a homogeneous, not even homogeneous, it's a random mix. So it, and again, we do add like smelling agents to it just to make sure that we can never sleep through this leaking. So it's a mix. Now, why go through this much hassle? Well, it has a ludicrously high energy content, 50 megajoule per kg. But again, if you have watched my channel, you know megajoule per kg does not mean anything. So you have to compare to liters. 150 psi, basically the pressure inside the tank, that gives you 25 megajoule per liter. That's not bad. That's what we call not bad. And in terms of kilograms, that's almost 14 kilograms. That's what I said, 14.2 kilograms of LPG. And the volume is 33 liters tank. So decent, meaning you can actually carry decent amount of energy. What amount of energy? Well, let's just say you set it on fire, burner going yellow, and you calculated how much energy it was dumping. And if you want to recreate it very electrically, that's 180 unit minimum. Now, because again, there is a mixture into it, some cylinder will give you 190, some will give you 200, but generally you should not go below 180. Like if somebody messed up in the refinery only, then you will go below 180, but likelihood is almost zero. So that's how you get a lot of energy in a safe package that you can transport. And biggest advantage why we want to deal with this is simply because low pressure liquefaction, meaning if you have seen this sort of lighter, so this puppy is the key, meaning it's a plastic can. How the heck it has a liquid? Now here's you might think, oh, it's alcohol. No, it's gas. It's propane, butane, or sometimes LPG. So how the heck it's in pressure? Because it does not need too much pressure. It's like 150 psi. Now, psi sounds big number because again, if you are dealing with tire pressure, 150, whoa. This is not that bad because here's the deal. In bars, it's barely 3 bars. We good. We got this. That's why it's plastic and transparent and it's still good enough. So fundamentally, that's why we use it. Transporting of this puppy is very easy. And because it's a liquid under pressure, it gives us what another benefit, which is constant pressure output. Meaning, if I turn this on, it will remain this height until the full tank is depleted. Almost like only at very last point, it will become cold enough where the pressure might drop. So that's a very amazing thing. Meaning, we have this tank, and we generally like tank is on here, and this is where our cook stove is. Cook stove can run, which is on top of the system, and we never will notice it. That is good or bad of it. Good, we do not need fancy pressure regulator. Bad that it almost disappears on us, meaning especially in summer, because the cooling effect that happens when liquid boil off, that will be overwhelmed by Indian heat. So we'll not know the tank is almost empty. Unless you have a weighting scale on below it, you won't know, well, it's like almost empty. Because liquid is there under pressure. What happens when you relieve the pressure? Liquid boil off, and that boil off creates new pressure. That fresh pressure keeps it again at the same stage. So it does not matter whether liquid level is here, it's still 150 psi. It's here, still 150 psi. Still here, 150 psi. Still here, 150. Only at last bit, it again, especially if you're using it continuously and it's winter, then you might like see a pressure drop. Other times, like it's almost start to then we know, okay, tank is almost empty. So that's the good advantage of it. First, super easy to transport. Liquid state, high density, like 25 megajoule per liter. To give you a context, petrol and diesel are like 32 to 38 megajoule per liter. So it's a very decent. And compared that to liquid hydrogen, cryogenic liquid hydrogen, that's 8. So this is magnificent. And why the heck tanks are so robust and massive? Yeah, it's designed to handle Indian love. That's why the tank does not need to be strong. We overbuilt it just for it can handle Indian love, so to say. So that's the reason. And again, we have rail carts where we can transport massive amount of it. Trucks, we can transport massive amount of it, and it works, burns cleanly, everything is fine and dandy. Constant pressure makes everything far more easier. So that's why we use LPG. It's quite effective, get it, and a byproduct of crude oil, might as well use it. And this became the backbone of Indian cooking industry. Now we come to CH4, methane puppy. Now this is what we call very common gas. Nature always wants to make methane. You drill, nature gives you methane. You let biomatter rot, nature gives you methane. Methane is biology and natural gas. And if you're like, why the heck we call it natural gas? Because back in the old days, people used to convert coal into CH4, and they are like, okay, how do we differentiate? After that, they figured out, hey, you can drill and get natural gas. It's like, oh, let's call that natural gas. So that's why it's called natural gas. So it's super abundant, meaning you do not have to worry about it. And given the horsepower of India, the amount of livestock we have, the amount of people we have, the amount of food we have, if we convert all of that into basically biogas, we good. We got this. If we convert only the feedstocks, we good. We should not ever have to ask anyone for basically, fuel, so to say, for cooking. I'm not talking about driving or transport or anything like that. But for cooking, if India ever reaches a point where it's have to worry about it, it only shows incompetency on our end, not on our resources. We got the resources. And again, there is another benefit of it. If you're environmental friendly kind of guy, you know that methane is a very brutal greenhouse gas. It's so brutal that it is better to have four, oh sorry, why I'm saying four, one carbon dioxide gas and molecule and 4 water vapor molecules. Both of them are greenhouse, but they are much less harmful than methane itself. Like, so if you're running a biogas plant and let's just say your storage fills up, you cannot release it into the atmosphere. You have to burn it. Heck, you can notice that in basically whenever they are doing methane testing in Starship and they have to boil off, it has to set it on fire. And again, it's not for safety. It has to be done for environmental reason. Safety is added bonus. So biomatter will degrade. It will give methane. So might as well use it. So fundamentally, now it's great in that regard, and energy 55 megajoule per kg, not bad. But again, kg means nothing. What about liters? Yeah, at 3000 psi, not 150, 3000 psi, that puppy barely gives you 9 megajoule per liter. By the way, that already exceeded liquid hydrogen. So I have no idea how the heck people are so dumb that they think hydrogen can be used. It's like, read rocket engineering. 9 megajoule per liter is more than 8 megajoule per liter. So 3000 psi. And again, this is like India has a lot of CNG refilling station and you can pay attention to those big numbers. It's like, and the smaller numbers that are like 100, 200, those are bars. The red smaller one, those are PSI. So yeah, it does need bonkers amount of pressure to have any usable amount of energy. That's why a car or vehicle CNG tanks are massive. They are like robust puppy because they have to be. And you're like, okay, what if I liquefy it? Well, you can't liquefy it via pressure. I mean, like, within reasonable engineering. So you have to liquefy it and you have to cool this puppy to minus 162 degrees Celsius. Yeah, that's cold. You have to cold it. You have to cryogenically cool it. And yes, India is now jumping into this where they're like, okay, we're going to have CNG. We tried it, but truck people don't like it because A, it will require too much refueling. Too much. Basically, you are driving, tank empty. Go again, refuel it, tank empty. Diesel is like you put it, again, you are comparing 9 to 38 of diesel. It's not even a comparison at that point in time. So they're like, okay, what's the next best thing? Next best thing is convert CH4 into liquid CH4 or methalox as they call it. That should make it viable enough for big trucks. That's why nobody is talking about this sort of thing in cars, because again, cars are not heavy duty system. Trucks are a heavy duty system. So India is working to bring this puppy into real world use. Let's see how it works. I have seen one of that when I was in Mumbai going to Pune. On road, I did notice one of these. So it is there. It's great. Let that be very clear. From a burning point of view, from energy point of view, from availability point of view, it's carbon neutral. You burn it, plant consumes the next batch. You consume the plant's cycle repeats. It's basically solar energy converted into chemical energy. It's perfect. But transporting is brutal. Like if you have to transport it from one place to another, it's bad. Either you have to use very high pressure tanks or you have to use cryogenic tanks. None of them are good for replacement for LPG. Or somebody figured out, hey, what if you had pipe gas? Basically, you pipe the gas to civilian infrastructure directly. It does require a bit of modification into our gas stove, so flow rate is a bit different. So we have to change that, but everything else remains the same. And it makes economical sense. It's too expensive to ship in bottles, so just have the pipe. Pipe is one-time expenditure and you do not have bonkersly high pressure. It can last very long time. And again, we can produce it. Thankfully, some people have realized a biogas plant is not something that you can have behind every home. We did try that. That did not work out. 1990s, we tried that. It makes sense to have massive plants which are industrial grade and people are spending time into it, effort into it, automated systems. And then you can even remove the sulfur that comes out of it. All of those filtration that makes it high quality, that can be done, and that can be directly fed into basically pipe gas, and tada, we no longer are dependent. Although pipe gas still has the issue that it's not economically viable to have pipe gas everywhere, especially in rural areas, because again, the population density is not high enough to justify it. So it's great. Leather gas, CH4, great. Biogas, great. Pipe gas to household, great. Transport, LNG, little bit better, but let's see how it unfolds. Like, it's a vacuum flask, by the way. So let's see how it unfolds. So that's the CH4 part. Now, what about dimethyl ether? So this had to be made. That's the biggest headache with this. It has to be made brick by brick, and burners have to be changed, because as you can see, like, these burners are not the same burners as you know about LPG or even methane burners. Why? Well, the thermal output is weak. It's alcohol, not hydrocarbon, so it does not have the oomph. So to give you a context, if you are talking about the same cylinder, that cylinder will, instead of carrying 180 unit of energy, will carry only 112. That's like almost losing 30 to 50% of energy. That does matter. So people say it burns cleaner. Half true. It burns cleaner because it's cooler, so NOx production goes down. Okay. But again, it does not have sulfur. Now, sulfur is a byproduct of almost all organic things. That's why biogas also has it. That's why crude oil has it. Like, sulfur will be there. Here you are making it so you are literally controlling each step. So sulfur content goes from ppms to bpm. That's the good part. But so that's the only justification that I could get about it. But it's odd to me. Again, Indian government is looking into it, but it's very odd to me, simply because why? If you are taking a feedstock, converting it, and you are making DME, why not use the same chemical process, same feedstock, and make LPG directly? And yes, it can be made. Again, it will also go through synth gas, methanol, and then LPG. But we have the infrastructure. Like, we do not have to change the burner, and we do not have to retrain people, okay, refill your tanks twice as often. Which again, all the energy savings you might get from, let's just say, some people have said that conversion efficiency from methane to LPG may not be as efficient as basically methanol to ethanol sister. So maybe, but again, all the energy cost down, you have to pay somewhere. You might be paying, like, the individuals that are using it. It's like, hey, I used it, the tanks used to last 2 months, now they are lasting, let's say, little bit more than a month. And now you have to spend energy into, like, carrying the tank, refilling it again and again. And that will, increase the frustration of the whole supply chain. So it's weird to me. I'm genuinely honest. I do not know why somebody would want to go through this hassle. Like, it sounds cool, but it's like, why? And you are making it, might as well make it into LPG and just forget about it. It's just like, oh, instead of getting LPG from crude oil, you are getting LPG from feedstock, and we have more than enough feedstock. We good, we got this. So it's strange, very weird. And if you know any reason, why would somebody, other than, like, conversion efficiency, that's the only thing I can see. And again, the hassle will be transported to other things, and that will directly increase the cost of living. Unwise. So that's why. And again, the burner change alone, like, we have a lot of people. You may not know this. We got lots of people. So changing even few percents of burner will be like, yeah, few million units. So fundamentally, I find it very odd. If you know a reason, I would love to hear it. But, like, I find it odd. It's like, might as well make it. Because again, Australia also does that same thing, like, gas to oil. You can do that. We have the technology to take hydrocarbon and make into whatever hydrocarbon you want. We got this. We good. We can have them married together. We can have them divorced together. We good. We got this. Like, we control hydrocarbon, man. Engineering is good. So this was my presentation on dimethyl ether. Hopefully you have liked it, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst your friends. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike, press it twice to show me excitement. Please leave a comment, because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free, and as always, thanks for watching.